Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Let's see if I'm live. Okay, looks like I am. Yay! Alright, hopefully it's not too bright behind here in my background if you guys can see. This is one of the pools in our apartment complex that we live in. So it's a beautiful day. Thought I would come out here and do my Wednesday live today for you guys. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Coach Kayla. I am a online dietitian, nutrition, and run coach specializing in plant-based nutrition for runners. And today I'm really excited because we're going to talk about why carbs and fats are not your enemy. And I wanted to talk about this because this is a topic that comes up a lot when I work with my clients. A lot of them are just so afraid to eat carbs and fats. But I am telling you, that is where the best runners come from, are the ones that eat more carbs and eat more fats, eat the right amounts that they need, because those are nutrients, those are macronutrients, as you know, that we need. And they are beneficial for us, but also important for you as an endurance athlete because of certain things that I'm going to talk about in this video today. So if you are joining me, please let me know. Say hi, say that you're here, let me know you're here. And if you are watching this on replay, just comment below replay so I know that you also checked this video out. So let's get started. So fats. I'm going to start with fats. So why are fats important? So fats are important. They have a lot of functions for us, actually. So some of the functions that fats do for us is they help cushion our organs. They help, what else do they do? Right? They help cushion our organs. Fats also help absorb nutrients. So the foods that we eat and the nutrients that we're eating through food, that is actually helping absorb those certain nutrients. So you've heard of fat soluble vitamins, right? So we need fats to do that. And in running, fats are also a source of energy. So fats are also important in that sense that we need to make sure we're getting enough fats in order to help us perform. And especially with longer endurance training, fats are important. We need to make sure to have some storage of fats in our muscles. So how much fat do you need? So what I recommend for my endurance athletes is for total calories, or how much you want to get out of total calories is about 25 to 30% of total calories. Now, if you are somebody that is whole food plant-based, most likely you're doing more of a high carb, low fat kind of diet. That is what a lot of the plant-based doctors promote, right? And so this is a big difference that I see with my athletes is they don't really quite understand why they should be eating more fats. But as I said, fats is a source of energy. It's also important, especially for women. Fats are so important because of our hormones. So in your body weight, and this is fats more in, I should say fat in your body weight fat. So fat is important for your body as women because if we are so low in body fat, then our hormones get all screwy, wacky. You have to have a certain amount of fat on your body as a woman. We cannot get as lean as men can. Unfortunately, that's just a fact. And if we are childbearing age, we want to make sure we have enough fat on our bodies in order to reproduce, in order to have children. So if you're a woman that is an athlete, that is a runner, that likes to keep in shape, but may want to have a child, then it's important to make sure that you have enough fat mass actually on your body. So it's also important in that way as well. And with hormones, take into account as well. I know a lot of sometimes too, especially this happens with young female athletes, is they're exercising so much that they lose their period, and that a lot has to do with those hormones as well, and it can be really helpful to increase your healthy fats that you eat. So when I say fats, I don't say, okay, Even though you're plant-based, you should go out and have a cheeseburger and french fries to eat a bunch of fat. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is still making sure that you're including healthy fats in your nutrition, in your diet. So some of those sources are avocados, nuts, almonds, Brazilian nuts, cashews. There's peanuts. There's so many different varieties, right, of nuts. Great source of fats. Flaxseed and chia seeds. Those are always a staple that I always try to make sure that I include in my daily nutrition. Try to throw some chia and flax seeds in my smoothies. Maybe a non-dairy yogurt or something like that. If I have oatmeal, I try to always just throw it in somewhere. So those are ways to get your fats. Hummus is also very popular. So hummus is also a great way as well. And that mostly comes from oil. So if you are no oil, you may not get as much fat. So that also comes into play of why sometimes I feel that a little oil is okay if you are kind of more non-oil based, depending on your needs. It really just depends on your needs. If you really do have an underlying chronic condition of why you're plant-based, then there's certain cases where maybe you don't want to do oil, which I totally get. But I do encourage some of my clients to introduce a little bit of oil if they are struggling to meet the fats. But there are whole food sources, like I just explained. Nuts, avocados are probably the best sources you can get that are more whole food plant-based. So you're not doing as much oil to get to those fats. Okay, so I think that's it. All I want to talk about for fats. Now, carbs. Carbs should be your friend. They should not be your enemy. So a lot of times, I think we're in this diet culture, right, that we feel like we can't have carbs, especially too as women. We may know from experience as well that if we overdo carbs, it leads to weight gain. So we have this fear, right, of eating too many carbs. But I do believe why so many plant-based runners are successful and plant-based athletes in general is because they're getting more carbs from their nutrition from vegetables. So really the only thing in your diet that is not carbs is protein, is meat. So if you are plant-based, then most likely most of your diet should be carbohydrates. So I'll talk about some good sources and where most of our sources of carbohydrates should be coming from, and what the difference, if you should be doing more simple or complex carbs, or what one's better, because I know I always get asked that as well. But first, why are carbs important? So number one, carbs are energy. I used to teach kids about nutrition, and what I would always say is, I would always do this, and I would jump up and down and say, carbs give us energy. So carbs are definitely our number one source of energy, as I said, fats do too, but carbs also give our bodies energy. So, and they don't just give us energy for physical activity, but also our brains to think. So that is why, like breakfast, they really encourage, you probably have always encouraged, right, kids to eat before they go to school and have breakfast because it helps them to think. And same thing too before you go to your job, right? You should be eating something that's carbs, and that's why most of our breakfast foods are carbohydrates. Unfortunately, we've gone to more carbohydrates with a lot of added sugars and all this stuff that really isn't the best for us, right? And in the general, I would say, general standard American diet, we are most likely eating too many carbs. But when it comes to also the athlete, you should be eating more carbohydrates. So 55 to 65% of your total calories should be coming from carbohydrates. Now that is a lot, but as I said, most of that should be coming from your vegetables. It should be coming from non-starchy and starchy vegetables, your grains, and some of possibly your plant-based protein sources. So like your beans, your chickpeas, right? All the legumes, those all have carbohydrates in them as well. You should not be afraid to eat those because they have carbohydrates as well. So at least or about 60% of your nutrition, as I said, should be coming from carbohydrate sources, and that's what gives your body energy. It also gives your body energy in the sense of gives your muscles energy in order to run or train for an endurance event. So the carbohydrates are really important because it's stored in your body as glycogen, and our muscles use that glycogen. So it's so important that we make sure we have those stored, and that's why you may have heard that it's recommended to have 30 grams of carbohydrates for every 45 minutes of activity if you're doing a longer endurance run, because you want to replace those glycogen stores so your muscles can keep going. And then what are some carb sources and our simple complex carbs? What does that mean? What one's better? So the carb sources that you should be eating, or at least mostly, is your vegetables, right? Your starchy vegetables, and your grains. So whole grains are the best, but when it comes to fueling before a run, say it's an hour or maybe even 5 to 10 minutes before you go on a run, you may want to have something that's more of a simple, quick carbohydrate because it's quickly digested, quickly goes into that bloodstream, stored as glycogen for your muscles to use. So some of those things could be white rice, pretzels, potatoes, things like that are quick, simple carbs. Also fruit, dried fruit is really great. Dates are really popular for runners to use, pre or during, because it is a simple carb. It's sugar, it's sweet, but it also gives you that quick energy that you need, that your muscles need. So that is why carbs and fats should not be your enemy. They should actually be your friends, because if you can eat, get close to these ratios of fats and carbs, then this is where you will be able to perform better. You will actually have a advantage, and you will actually perform. It will help you to run better. It will help you to get through your runs. It's going to help you, as I said, it's going to help you run better, and you're going to also feel better. And I think that is the biggest thing that I like to stress when I work with my runners is I want to help you to feel better so you can finish that race, you finish that event, or whatever it is that you're doing, and just feel good and not feel crappy afterwards. Because who wants to do that? It's not enjoyable. And even though we think we're doing something that's good for us, if we're not enjoying it, then it's not worth it, right? It's not worth it. There's also other things that you can do to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself moving. So you want to make sure if you're doing that activity, especially for health, that it's something that you enjoy doing and that you feel good doing it. So that is why I am also here and why I help plant-based runners. So with all that said, I do hope that you guys join my masterclass. If you did not see, I am hosting a 1-hour masterclass. This is the first time I'm doing it. This is an exclusive, limited time offer that I am doing this 1-hour masterclass. And what I'm going to be talking about is how to run your best without making the 3 biggest mistakes that I see, or most common mistakes I see my plant-based runners make. And I want to help you and teach you the key things that you need to know and how you can not make those mistakes and make sure that you are fueling properly so you can be the best plant-based runner that you can be. So if you are interested in joining that masterclass, I will post a link here under this video in the comments here below to make sure that you have that link in order to sign up for the masterclass. So I hope you will join us. It is going to be May 12th. I am offering 2 times, so if you want, make sure when you register, just tell me what time works best for you so I know. But I am offering it at 12 p.m. noon Eastern time, as well as 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time as well. So there's 2 times in case one time doesn't work for you. There's another time, or in case you miss it. Replays will be available, but only for 11 times. So I encourage you as much as possible to join me live. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys today. If there are any questions that you have, let me see if there's any comments. I don't think I did. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful Wednesday and a